Hi folks, and welcome to my top games of 2021. I'm going through all the games in my collection from lowest to the highest ranked here. And so here we're on number 220. I've had it in my collection for 4 years. It started off for 2 years. It was in my top 100. It was number 61 and 94. Last year it free-falled to 210, and this year it went down 10 more spots. Now I have nothing against this game. It's just a battle game. Conquest of Nordroth. Now this is a straight battle game. Make no mistake about it. But the pieces are beautiful. Castles, unique dragons, unique monsters. You have wizards. You have unique sculpts of heroes. Each team does. It scales well. I played a two-player game because people had to leave. Two people had to leave like jerks. I was like, no. We're not going to be able to finish this game with just two people. And so we played the game with two people. And yeah, you didn't have to fight for like 3 or 4 rounds. And then after that, you had to fight. The board is pretty tight, even for 2 players. And so it's basically just a fighting game. You can go into dungeons and get points too. But after a while, each time you re-enter a dungeon, it gets harder and harder until it's really not worth it. And you're just trying to score points, but you have to battle that. I love this better than Conquest of the Empire because sea battles matter a whole lot more, and they're not a lot more involved than Conquest of the Empire sea battles, which are kind of just ship against ship. And what you do, how you strategize, how you make alliances. Alliances are quick and can be changed can turn on a dime. Like I said, if you're playing this game, you're going to stop. People are going to stop and look at your table because the pieces look amazing, amazing. I think this game is still pretty cheap. But after a few years of playing it, I realized it's just a battle game. It's just going, rolling dice. And sometimes playing cards, of course, to balance it out. But it's just a battle game. But yeah, I like that. I like that. I have no problem with the game. Like I said, it's still in my collection. It will always stay in my collection, I think. But it does keep sinking down because it's just battle, which is fun. What they call that, Ameritrash, I think. But I hate that word. I hate the word Ameritrash because it may say, oh, it's not that good. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure good, but I wouldn't even say it's guilty pleasure. I do enjoy playing the game, but again, it's just battle. If you like that, hey, you may want to get this game. My number 219 has been in my collection for 3 years. Start off at number 138, Cult of the New. And then it dropped to 208. Now it's down 11 more spots. It's Architects of the Colosseum. I do like this one. It's basically a rondel. Everyone gets to move around this guy on a chariot and then take the action wherever they stop it. It's up to them. They've got a few extra moves on their own player board to use up. It's once only. But they're also trying to grab all these tiles, which are going to give them extra resources, which they're going to cash in those resources to buy pieces of the Colosseum, which you stick into the board game, the bottom of the board game, and it becomes a 3D Colosseum at the end of the game, which I think is pretty neat. This game has a lot of nice production. Kind of simple and straightforward. It could be a gateway game. It could be a next step game too. The price has gone down a whole lot on it since I got it, which is good. You can find this game for cheap. And yeah, get it. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing this game. Toward the end, yeah, you may know who's going to win those last few tiles when you're like, man, I can't get any more points. But thankfully, if you have the most of X amount of tiles, you would get bonus points. So if it got close, there's a chance you're still in it. But I think the last 2 pieces of Colosseum, I think everyone knows who's going to win by then. And that's probably why it fell a little bit this year. I still don't mind this game, obviously, because it's in my collection. But it is fun. Architects of the Colosseum. My number 218, been in my collection for 4 years. It was 119, then 164, then 216. Drops only 6 spots, which isn't bad. I've got a ton of new games in my collection. It is Changqing. Changqing, you are building up a wall of China. You're trying to get victory points, area majority on one side, but then on the other side, which is cut up differently, you're trying to avoid the Mongols who are invading, because they're going to give you negative points at the end of the game. Every turn, you're just placing a wall piece. That's all you're doing. If you play with a little mini expansion that comes with the game, which I highly recommend you do, you play these Emperor's cards face down, or little they look like little tongue depressors or whatever, but you play those face down and you flip them over and they give you bonuses in the game or screw other players in the game. And it just adds another layer of strategy to the game. There's also a double piece you can put down, or a watchtower that you can put down, which have advantages as well. And the game is very simple, straightforward. This is almost like a gateway game. I see this game for super cheap all the time. And I really think people are missing out. If you love area control and you like high quality produced games that aren't that heavy, Chang Ching is for you. Love this game. All right, number 217 is a game that has fallen from grace the past few years. It's been in my collection for 5 years now. I can't even believe that. And it was in my top 100 for 3 of those 5 years. It was 43, then it went to 50, then it went to 87, slowly losing out. It free falled last year to 198 because I'm not playing it but once a year now. I still only play this game once a year. It's kind of sad, so that's why it drops another 19 points here. But it's Dystown. Nothing wrong with Dystown. I love chucking dice. I love chucking dice. Dice are like there's kings, queens, jacks, aces, nines, and tens. And you're trying to get the best hand. If you get the most of any one, you're going to be able to take advantage of one of the bonuses on the game, which are all good. I even got a metal sheriff's badge for this game recently, I think. I got that this year. It may have been last year. But either way, I'm still getting stuff for this game. We played it with all the expansions. I will probably never play that again that way because that's just a little too much. And but I don't know, after you have a game so long, you just don't play it a lot. And that's what I was noticing last year. I didn't play it that much. And this year I didn't play it that much. I do love the game. It's a winner with my gaming group. Who doesn't love shaking those dice in the cup and slamming them down the table? That's a lot of fun. And there's different strategies to win. But I think playing with like the cowboys and cattle expansion and the oil springs expansion and the little Indian die, it's a little too much. I would probably take out either the cowboys and cattle or the oil springs next time I play, because putting them both in together made the game a little finicky. But either way though, Dystown's fun. That's why it's still on my list at 217. Hey, at 216 is a brand new game that my wife was begging me for over a year to get. I finally got it. It's Jaws. It basically plays out like the entire movie of Jaws. It's the hidden person, where one person's the shark or the killer. You've seen it's like in Last Friday and what's the other one? The Sherlock Holmes, the Jack the Ripper one, Letters of Whitechapel. And I'm not a fan of the hidden threat, the hidden enemy game, because it can lead to a little bit of cheating on whoever's the shark, whoever's Jaws can lie a little bit. And I don't like that. So I've been Jaws when we played, and my gaming group really doesn't know how to play the game yet. They never figured it out because I demolished them. I was trying to help them out to kill me after a while because I felt so bad for them. But a lot of people don't understand the hidden, element, the hidden character movement. And that was really hard to explain to my gaming group. To be fair, I don't like any of those games. I hated Last Friday. Letters of Whitechapel, not a fan. The old Scotland Yard. I never grew up playing Scotland Yard, so I just don't like the invisible movement thing. This has that one, but I will be honest, it does feel like the movie. It does feel like the movie. It's very thematic. My wife will play this, so it's going to stay in my collection. But again, it may never get higher than that. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But this was a game I should have brought to the beach this year. I did not. I failed to. And maybe if I did, it'd have moved up. But right now, it is new. It's on my list at 216. And now it's time to put Queen games on this list. Folks, if you don't know, I love Queen games. I love Queen games. And at 215 is my first Queen game here. It is Cubo. Cubo is just a simple dice rolling game. You're trying to get numbers and colors on the dice to line up, either horizontal or vertically. And it's just rolling your dice until you get the setup, and then you just add up those points from there, and you play it a few rounds. It's basically a filler game in a way that you can get any six-sided die of certain color and play with. So take that for what it is. I got this on clearance sale for like $2 or $3, and it got played a lot. We've had a lot of fun with it this year. Last year I ranked it 232 because I knew it was just a filler game and probably a forgettable one at that, but not so forgettable because it has moved up 17 spots on my list here. So hurrah for Cubo. Cubo is still cheap to get if you want to get it. I am a Queen Games fanatic. And that can easily be said by number 214, which is also Queen Games. It is Inuke. I think I'm the only person to do a review of this on my channel on YouTube. But basically, it's weird. You're an Eskimo up north, and basically it's memory in a way. You're trying to flip over tiles, and you want to flip it over based on predator. For instance, there are smaller fish that are scared of bigger fish that are scared of, I don't know, a seal. Seals are scared of polar bears, and polar bears only run from the elk, which is an Eskimo, which if you flip that over, you get to put one of your Eskimo pawns on the igloo to hopefully get extra victory points into the game. And it's a push your luck a little bit because, you know, maybe I flipped over a seal. Okay, as long as I don't flip over a polar bear, I'm fine. So let me flip over this one. Whew, it was some mackerel. Okay, well now if I flip over a seal again, the mackerel, it's going to scare everything. I'm going to lose all these tiles. So I want to keep pushing it. Yeah, I'll keep pushing it. Oh, good, another mackerel. I can keep going, or I can stop and collect all those cards. And you're trying to get as many of these tiles as you can at the end of the game. It really is a fun game. It's actually a Queen's Kids game, but I love it. I love Inuke. You can still get this game for super cheap. Last year it was number 227. It also moves up my list at 213 because it's an awesome Queen game. All right, my number 213 has been in my collection for 5 years. 2 of those years, it was 72, both times. Without me looking at the list, I had it ranked at number 72. And then the year after it went down to 115. Last year was 123. This year, yikes, it free falls 90 spots. But doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's Dream Home. I love Dream Home. Card drafting, where you're trying to build this house. There are different expansions that can give you way different ways to get, there's tons of ways now to get bonus points in the game. Based on the extra pieces you can put into your home by fitting together a certain amount of rooms. You have a private goal now that you can look at, or a private setup that gives you extra bonus points if you collect it that way, if you put your house together that way. And with all the different options, you can really design and build the house you want. There's even cheat cards in there that can let you switch out 2 cards for one another or something else. And so there's a lot of neat options to get just that kind of home you want. I think if my wife played this, she'd absolutely love it, but she doesn't want to play it with me, so it just keeps dropping. But and the reason it dropped a lot here is because I'm just not playing with it as much of the game, and it is card drafting, which is probably one of my least favorite mechanisms in a board game. But that's not to say I will never play it, because I do like the game. I did hunt down another a little mini promo for it just to add to my collection. But Dream Home, as you can see, it looks kind of childish, but adults play this, and my adult gaming group does love it. You know, it seems like forever since I've talked about Queen Games, so let me do this here. My number 212 is a new game to my collection from Queen Games. It is Inca. Ooh, I love Inca. I may be the first person who reviewed this in English too, by the way. But Inca, you are moving around diamond-shaped pieces around the board trying to set up a path to get to your little idol. There's 3 idols of your color in the center of the board game, but they're all blocked by walls. So you have to keep moving these tiles, and you can put a marker down to stop a tile from moving that round, or what you're going to do is stop from your tile from moving, because people can move your tile. And then you have certain action points, and certain actions can cost more action points than others, meaning going across lines where there are snakes. That's going to cost you 2 action points instead of just 1 going to another one. But as you're using your action points wisely, it's just a big puzzle game for everyone, trying to get to the center and just move around, which you think would be easy, but it's not. There's a lot of laughter in this, and a lot of just head scratching. It's a deep thinker, but such a unique game, and I do love it. Now, any game I get new, I historically rank low because I don't want to be cult of the new. I hate that. It happens to the best of us, and it may happen to me later on this list, but for right now, I've ranked it at 212, but Inca is a good game. Finally, at number 211 is a game that's been in my collection for 4 years. I believe it was the first thing I ever funded on Kickstarter. Started off at 107, just missed out on my top 100. Then it dropped to 174, 215. It goes up 4 spots here, which is nice, but it's Grim Forest. Grim Forest is one of the most probably the most beautiful game I have in my collection, or one of them at least. It's so great. The design looks great. The miniatures look awesome. You're basically the three little pigs trying to build these houses of brick, straw, and wood. Obviously, you get more points for brick than you would for wood or straw, but you're just trying to build 3 houses and then end the game. You all have these friends that are basically just special powers you can get every time you build a rooftop, or maybe the second and third piece. You can get a friend card. You either keep it or you give it to another player. But when you keep it, you got to give your old card to another player. Basically, you're trying to get them to bump and get rid of their cards. So everyone's special ability is always changing just about every round, unless you have a character that's not that good. But I do not win at this game that much, but I do love it, and I've had a great time with it. There's still a person in my gaming group who I keep telling this game about, but I keep forgetting to bring it out for her because she's all into artwork, and the artwork here is just beautiful. Grim Forest has been around for a while. It's not on anyone's radar right now, but if you've never played it before, this is a fun game. I think families would like, and then gamers I think would also like it too. Plus, I love unique themes, and the Three Little Pigs theme is pretty unique. It's pretty awesome too. All right, gamers, that's it for now. See you next time with another video.